Thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. In Montana's high-profile U.S. Senate race, a political action committee has been formed to promote the candidacy of a Green Party candidate. But records show that the PAC is using a communications firm with ties to Montana Republicans. The Go Green Montana PAC was formed less than 3 weeks ago and is backing Green Party candidate Wendy Frederickson of Helena. Records show the PAC has paid $27,000 to a Salt Lake City firm called Arena for digital ads and other items. In the past decade, Montana Republican Party and Montana GOP candidates have paid Arena $1.7 million for its services. The Montana Green Party says it has nothing to do with the PAC, and Montana Democrats say it's a ploy by Republicans to promote a candidate meant to hurt the Democratic nominee this fall. Frederickson has a Green Party primary opponent who has made similar allegations. The treasurer for Go Green Montana PAC did not return a telephone message seeking comment. No outfit is complete without a mask these days, and the new normal of masks has become an added barrier for deaf and hard of hearing communities. But how deaf and blind schools are learning to adapt with and cope to the challenge is a different story. MTN's Caitlin Boycell takes a different look.
Need to be around a peer group.
At the Montana School for Deaf and Blind, they rely a lot on expressions and social interactions with their community. But these days, having to wear a mask all the time makes communicating a little bit difficult.
You will find that many of our deaf and hard of hearing students, as well as maybe staff, rely on lip reading, but also that their language has a high level of expressions, and when you can't read the expressions off the person conveying the message face, a lot of communication could be misinterpreted from each other.
One teacher, Tara Donovan, explained she can speak with her friends through social distancing, but when a mask is on, it gets in the way.
So the masks, I feel pretty stuck. I feel like I'm totally missing out on what's going on with the masks. It's really hard for me. You know, if I'm having a mask too, then it's hard for other people to understand too, because you're missing the part of the language that's in the facial expressions and on the face, and so you end up having to gesture more, and it's less language and more pantomiming and stuff in it. You know, but I guess this is like the new normal. Hopefully not forever.
Brenda Lemieux teaches life skills at the school, and she says these kids are missing out on prime education being stuck at home.
They might be able to give them some basic signs, some basic communication, but the home communication is limited. It's not all parents and siblings can sign well.
She also says she just wants things to go back the way they are.
I really miss my kids. I really miss them being here. I miss seeing my staff for the supports and the socializing, but mostly I miss my kids.
Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boycell, MTN News.
And the Montana School for the Deaf and Blind expects to reopen in the fall. Well, speaking of masks, throughout the pandemic, people have learned to adapt in incredible ways. That's certainly true for one local woman who's gone from running a home daycare to sewing and sending masks all over the country. MTN's Megan Mannering has the story.
Normally, Vita Anderson runs a daycare out of her home in East Missoula. But is anything really normal nowadays?
We closed our daycare and kept our fingers crossed that we would be able to stay afloat until we could reopen.
When Governor Bullock shut down the schools in March due to COVID, Vita and her husband knew they would probably need to put a halt to the daycare operation until at least June and find another way to make ends meet in the meantime. With years of sewing experience and a demand across the country for protective masks like these, Vita knew what she needed to do.
20 days straight of sewing, 14 hours a day, no joke.
At the start, Vita was coordinating mask making and donations for a Facebook group called Crafters Against COVID-19. But once the CDC changed its recommendation for masks to be worn by everyone in public, she started selling them through her online crafting shop.
And then it just kind of took off. Then we were so busy we couldn't sew fast enough.
All of a sudden, requests were coming in from all over the country.
So we've sent them a lot to New York, Brooklyn, the Bronx. We've sent them to Florida, Texas, Indiana, a lot to California, a lot to Seattle.
And amid the chaos of what has now become a mass sewing operation, Vita has enlisted the help of her 2 teenagers and her husband, making this time even more memorable than it already is.
I taught my husband how to cut the fabric, get them all prepped that way. I taught him how to surge, the first step, and then he has got carpal tunnel syndrome now from all the ironing.
Mask by mask, Vita is determined to get her family through the pandemic.
The masks definitely have been a blessing, and they have kept us from having to go into our savings and kept us afloat without having to worry. We went from being super worried to being super busy and no time to worry.
In Missoula, Megan Mannering, MTN News.
And one other note on the pandemic this evening. So far, no new confirmed cases of coronavirus in Montana today. The total count for the state remains at 479. Well, rain has stayed away for most of us in north central Montana, and our STORMTracker weather team is here to tell us more. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant?
All right, Matt, good evening, everyone. We are looking at really cloudy skies for a lot of us. The bulk of the showers stay off towards Lewistown and Roy. We haven't seen a lot of rain, though, which is a good thing. As in all, we have been looking at some precipitation, again, falling out towards Lewistown, but after everything is said and done, not looking at much of anything. The rain has stayed off towards the south of us, which has been really, really nice for us to enjoy a dry day because we have had several rainy days this past week. Outside Great Falls 56, as well as out in Helena, 50 in Lewistown and 54 in Cutbank. We have also seen temperatures outside 62 in Havre, 57 in Glasgow, 43 in Billings, out towards Missoula, 52. Now our high today was 61 degrees. The record 88 set back in 1919 when the Grand Canyon National Park was first established. Pretty interesting fact. But later on in the show, we're going to talk about a big warm up where some of us could see 90-degree temperatures by this time next week. More on that later. Matt?
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, with graduation 1 week away, what better time to highlight some of the students and teachers who have made this year's graduating class so successful? Tonight, MTN's Lindsay Hyatt brings you the third and final installment of Excellence in Education Student Success Stories. This special features one ambitious Paris Gibson senior and the staff that made high school feel like home.
Each year, 34 students select 2 teachers who've helped them walk the path to success to be honored by the Great Falls Public Schools Foundation.
Since the public won't be able to attend this year's ceremony in person, we're bringing their stories to you. That's 3 stories from each of the 3 high schools, 3 students, 6 teachers, and 1 excellent education.
The only one of her siblings to receive a diploma and one of her only classmates honored as an Excellence in Education designee, Danny Hardesty never fails to stand out from the crowd.
I always wanted to have A's. I don't know why I always thought like a C, like no, I can't have a C. Like even a B was just like, I can't have a B.
She's an absolutely outstanding student, honor student in many areas. She takes a lot of pride in her culture. She is just a very, very special, unique young lady.
A proud Blackfeet Reservation member, Danny carries her culture into the classroom.
I actually come from one of the largest Blackfeet veteran families, and I think that really makes me really like stand tall. And I just always thought I wanted to make my family proud.
Danny's high GPA and higher aspirations have instilled pride not only within her parents, but her mentors as well.
I've never had a student quite like Danny who knew bits of her culture but was so hungry to learn more about her native culture.
Danny's made an impact on us, though, too. She's a school board representative. She's a world-class dancer. She is an incredible artist. She does so many things well. We'll hear her name a lot in the future, no matter what she decides to do.
With her inner drive and many talents, her mentors at Paris Gibson are sure her future will be just as bright as she is.
I see her using her law degree to help her Native American people. I think she could really benefit her community, and I know her heart's in going back to her reservation to help there.
Danny will go wherever she wants to go. She's looking to go to school for political science. But whatever Danny does, she will do well and she'll be successful at without any doubt.
No matter what she does, she will always have a family among the Paris Gibson faculty.
There's never really no farewells with Native Americans. It's always, I'll see you later.
It's never a farewell with Danny because she'll always come back. She knows that Paris is her family, that we will support her. We have kids that come back 10, 15 years later. She'll be the same way.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Danny represents just one of 4 designated honorees from her graduating class. She and her classmates will graduate next Saturday at 2 p.m. at Four Seasons Arena within the Montana Expo Park. Coming up, the Montana Veterans Affairs Division is having a virtual Memorial Day ceremony on Monday. We'll give you a preview after the break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. The Great Falls Transit District announced on their website today that the fixed route transportation services will resume on June 1st. June monthly passes will be sold at half price, and all passengers must supply and wear a facial covering to access the buses. Passengers with a cough or fever will be asked to not use the transit services and report to a medical provider for treatment. They ask that you contact the general manager at 406-727-0382 should you need a reasonable modification in order to use the services, or if you want more information on these new guidelines. About 20 volunteers gathered to place American flags at the Montana State Veterans Cemetery. According to a representative, they usually have about 10 volunteers and take about 2 hours to put the flags at the cemetery. They said they appreciate having more volunteers this year, and families also attended the flagging to honor their veterans.
My dad and my brother and my son and my grandson are all military, and it's just a way to honor them and just feel proud of what they do. They're real proud of their service, all of them, doing their duty and help protect us, yes. And so it's just my little part to help doing that.
And the Montana Veterans Affairs Division announced a virtual Memorial Day ceremony to be aired on Memorial Day. The ceremony will include the annual wreath laying at the State Cemetery, a speech by Montana Adjutant General Matthew Quinn, and more. Due to the pandemic, Montana State Veteran Cemeteries are unable to host in-person ceremonies, but the division will continue to honor our veterans virtually. A link to the ceremony will be made public on Monday to view on YouTube or Facebook. The Montana Supreme Court ruled this week dinosaur fossils aren't minerals and the rights to them belong to the surface property owners. The case heard before the court revolved around the Murray family, who discovered several notable and valuable fossils on their ranch, including the Murray T-Rex, which sold for several $1 million to Naturalist Biodiversity Center in the Netherlands. The Murrays own the surface land on their ranch, but most of the mineral rights belong to out-of-state companies. In 2013, BEJ Minerals and RTWF LLC, who hold mineral rights to the property, claimed an interest in the finds, arguing that the fossils were just like in finding oil or natural gas on the property. In a split 4-3 ruling, the court said that while fossils can be tremendous scientific importance and monetary value, they do not meet the standard to a mineral since they are not processed into another mineral. The 2019 legislature passed a bill declaring that fossils are not minerals and that they belong to the landowners. The bill was signed into law by Governor Bullock, but because this law was signed after initial court proceedings, Murray's case was left up to the courts.
I used to always want to be a paleontologist. I think that's awesome. Well, going throughout tomorrow, we are going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-60s, partly sunny skies, and then for Memorial Day, low 70s, mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. Don't go away. I'll look at your full 7-day forecast after this break. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a great start to your Saturday. I know I have, with some margarita pizza. Really good. Now, overall, Great Falls, we've seen mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies. Temperatures in the mid-50s, 56 degrees. Hey, a car just went by in Cutbank, 54. Helena, 56, and Lewistown, 50 degrees. Elsewhere, we've looked at a little bit warmer temperatures up towards Havre at 62. Head on over to Kalispell, though, 57 degrees, and Bozeman, 45. Very chilly out there. And with our winds, I mean, thankfully we have seen our winds really calm down, because we were looking at, I believe, on Thursday, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust up in Cutbank. Looking at a west wind now at 5 miles an hour. How about that? Northwest winds at 7 miles an hour in Great Falls. Northeast winds in Lewistown at 7, and west winds at 10 in Helena. Overall, the setup for the past 3 hours, looking at the bulk of the moisture staying farther towards the east of us, and Lewistown affecting some of those with some showers. But most of us have been looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies today. Now, why is that? Well, it's because it's high pressure allowing for some flow to move in, bring in that moisture from Canada. Remember, the bulk of it stays off towards the east, though. Going throughout the day tomorrow, we will look at that high pressure get closer towards the Electric City, and as it does so, it will allow for some cloud cover to be brought back in. I'm not thinking it's going to be a mostly cloudy day. I think it's going to be a partly sunny day. And with the rain too, I think this model over exaggerates the chance for some showers. We will see maybe a shower or two, probably more likely down towards Helena. But if anything, it's just going to be maybe 1/100 of an inch or so. By Monday morning, shaping up nicely. We are looking at really clear skies, but then clouds will try to get back in to Great Falls by 4:30 p.m. And I think that we're going to be looking at a mostly sunny to partly sunny day for us all on Memorial Day. Overall, as we head throughout the evening, we're going to see winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in Great Falls and die down to around 5 to 10 by tomorrow. It will be a nice, not looking at a windy week at all. So the average high for this time of year is around 67 degrees, right? Well, take a look at this. We're going to be climbing up. It's almost like a roller coaster. 81 by Thursday, 87 on Friday, Saturday, 90 degrees possible in a lot of locations. So get ready. That summer heat is going to be moving in. But I know our Caitlin, boy, so she loves to go out and tan. Well, Caitlin, there you go. Next weekend will be a great time to do that. And speaking of summer, only looking at 20 days away until we can get out and enjoy that summer sun. Hopefully things will get somewhat back to normal with our next phase going into Montana. You could always follow me on social media, Meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook, is also on Twitter and on Instagram. As we head throughout the next 12 hours, we are going to be looking at temperatures 45 degrees by midnight, mostly cloudy skies. Waking up 6 a.m., 42 degrees with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. For our friends in Helena too, maybe a chance for a shower by 9 p.m., 60% chance, but 42 degrees while you wake up in the morning. Now, heading throughout the day, notice we are going to be looking at a mix of sun and clouds really pretty much throughout the entire next 7 days. The thing is our temperatures warming up greatly. 87 by Friday, 90 on Saturday. And for Helena too, we're going to be looking at temperatures warming up. The best chance to see some rain though will be on Tuesday as well as on Saturday. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Friday marked the first day of the 2020 season for the World Museum of Mining in Butte. MTN's Dom Tibbetts tells us what visitors should expect and prepare for during their visits there.
One of Butte's most popular tourist destinations is back up and running. World Museum of Mining Executive Director Jeanette Koff and her staff have been implementing new safety measures to meet the required guidelines on what they call a phased reopening.
Our tour capacity is greatly reduced. We've reduced it to about 1/3 of what we normally do for our tour capacity. On those tours, face masks will have to be worn by our guests. Our tour guides will have a face shield so that they can project their voices. Really hard to talk in a face mask for an hour.
Normal operations for the staff will surely look a lot different from the years past. However, the museum is happy to share a brand new tour for its guests.
We decided to start offering it to the public this year, again, because we're not opening up the whole museum. We wanted to share Butte's history and mining history. So it's really a walk through the mine yard. You go into the engine room, the original engine room of the Orphan Girl, walk under the Orphan Girl headframe, just get a little bit of an idea of the operations of a mine yard.
Like many tourist-driven businesses in the mining city, the museum is staying optimistic in hopes they can sustain operations during this tough time while prioritizing health and safety for all.
We have been on a steady incline of guests, and we had a record-breaking year almost every year of those years. We're not going to have that this year. I'm not even aiming to have that this year. My goal this year is to keep everybody health and safety, whatever those numbers may be.
In Butte, Dom Tibbetts, MTN News.
And the museum encourages guests to make reservations ahead of time or purchase your tickets online on their website. We're back after this.
Going throughout this Memorial Day, we are going to be looking at temperatures tomorrow in the lower 60s. And then as we head throughout the day on Monday, we will be looking at temperatures in the lower 70s. Here we go. Partly sunny skies tomorrow, and then going to mostly sunny to partly sunny skies for our Memorial Day. And as we take a look at our next 7 days, temperatures warming up nicely to 90 degrees by next Saturday. And for Helena, best chance of rain on Tuesday, 90 degrees on Saturday as well.
All right, well, Alabama head football coach Nick Saban and the team's mascot Big Al made a public service announcement about social distancing along with Alabama Director of Sports Medicine Jeff Allen. Saban and Allen walk into this room, they find the Alabama football complex only to find Big Al standing a little too close and without a mask. You see them measuring 6 feet out there. They give him a crash course on wearing a mask, social distancing, and how to stay safe during the pandemic. Everyone's doing their part. I love it.
I love it too. You know, even our mascots can't get away with it. They've got to do their part.
Yeah, that you would think that the head would keep the germs out, but I guess not. They need a mask too.
They're an elephant.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are for elephants, but thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.